Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Don Odells Legends. My name is Art Tipaldi. I'm the editor of Blues Music Magazine, and our current issue, which you can check out online at bluesmusicmagazine.com, has Buddy Guy on the cover, and one of the feature artists who's also on the cover with Buddy's photo is our guest today at Don Odells Legends, Samantha Fish. Samantha, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Now, for those people who don't know much about Samantha, she's 25 years old. So far, she's been on 4 records, 2 of her own and 2 with the Roof Records Blues Caravan. She's won a Blues Music Award for Best New Artist Debut. How many cruises have you been on?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
I've lost count.
She's nearly a regular on the Blues Cruise. She's got a signature guitar made for her. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah. What's it called? A Fish?
It's a Delaney. It's like a signature Samantha Fish custom model, but I call it the Fishocaster.
The Fishocaster, which you'll see tonight. She's also a part of the Blue Star Connection,
Yes,
the Healers,
the Healers.
which is an organization that takes instruments to terminally ill children in hospitals all over the world, children's hospitals, non-stop touring. And just last night, she played up at the Bull Run in Shirley, Massachusetts, and was honored to have Ronnie Earl come out and gig with you for 2 songs.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
25 years old. Holy mackerel, this is amazing.
Yeah, last night was definitely it was really cool because he called when we were doing sound check, and it's funny, the sound guy goes, "Oh, Ronnie Earl's on the phone and he wants to talk to you." No. I was like, "Are you kidding?" No.
Yeah,
But I actually got on the phone with him. He was very nice, and he said he was coming out, so kind of worked out a little jam. It was very nice.
That's nice. Yeah. How do you jam with? You've jammed with Buddy.
Yep.
Tommy Castro all the time on the boat. Of course, the Trample Underfoot. Nick Schneblin. Ronnie Earl last night. Royal Southern Brotherhood. Who am I missing in the big pantheon of?
There's been a lot. I haven't jammed with BB.
Okay.
No.
Jimmy Vaughn.
No, I don't.
Okay.
No. A lot of jams on the Blues Cruise.
Yeah.
There's been some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. So how do you jam with the big boys and girls?
Well, you just politely ask what they want to do and try to follow, but at the same time try to do your leads. It's jamming is all about working together and making something cohesive. So I mean, it's just I listen. I'll try to listen. So
yeah. Researchers have said. You're the first person I've asked this question to. Researchers have said that to become an expert musician, an expert athlete, there needs to be 10,000 hours of practice before the age of 20. And I meant to figure it out how many days that would be. I mean, you're talking about 10 years time. They say the 10-year rule from age 10 to 20, and they talk about that's 3,600 days to put in 10,000 hours. It really doesn't work out to be. To get to this point, what was your practice like?
Well, man, I was like, now I'm thinking I'm really far behind. And I'm thinking, I started playing guitar when I was 15. I started drums at 13. So I've been playing guitar about 10 years, and hours of, sitting at home practicing, it's hard for me to calculate exactly what I've done there.
Right.
But, we go out and we play so much live, you know what I mean?
But back then, when you were picking up the guitar at 14, you're in high school. I was a high school teacher. I know there's a whole social life involved. I had daughters.
Yeah.
What part of your day was guitar? How much did guitar rule your day and learning?
Day to day it was different. I think I was like a lot of kids growing up. I mean, you go to school. I had a couple jobs. So on the days where I could do it, hours.
Yeah.
There's some days where you couldn't, but there's on the days I could do it and I look forward to it, hours. You know, more than that.
Yeah. And what's the hours of practice like? Is it? We just had Matt Schofield in here last week, and he said when he grew up in the '80s, it was listen to the cassettes. And listen to them over and over again. He said today's kid can go online and watch and learn. So what was your learning like?
Well, when I discovered the online thing, that was pretty cool. But I mean, when I started out, it was a lot of I would go out and get DVDs of concerts. I remember I had the Stevie Ray Vaughan, Austin City Limits DVD.
Yeah.
And, you know, just watching the close-ups of the hands. You
Yeah.
know, I had this Tom Petty DVD, and I'm a huge Mike Campbell fan, the
Okay.
guitarist.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, watching the close-ups of the hands and trying to like, dissect what they're doing when you don't know what they're doing.
Right.
It's really good. You know, I'm a visual person, you know,
Okay.
I've always, and that really helps with the being able to pick stuff out by ear, you know, just for me to be able to see it and internalize it that way. I mean, it was, there's, you know, the internet really helped too. YouTube
Yeah.
is great for that kind of stuff because then you just have all these videos at your fingertips.
Right, right.
It's very cool.
What was the blues education going on at the same time? What were you listening to besides Stevie?
Well, when I had a classic rock diet growing up, you know,
Okay.
and my parents listened to a lot of rock and roll, and then they had friends that would come over and play guitar, and they do like bluegrass and country music.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know, blues was always kind of like revolving around. So it was, you know, when I started getting into the blues, it started with Stevie, and then of course
Yeah.
I went back, and you know, I really got into the kind of North Mississippi sound. I fell in love with the blues down at the King Biscuit Blues Festival.
Sure.
I was like 17 or 18 years old.
Yeah.
And we saw bands like Moreland Arbuckle
Yep.
and you know, Richard Johnston, and I kind of fell in love with Arl Bernstein, Junior Kimbrough. You know, but then moving back even further, finding Freddie King and Howlin' Wolf, Muddy Waters, and then further back with Skip James and Charlie Patton. I mean, just, you know, just seeking out that education. I mean,
Yeah.
I looked for as much as I could.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, back to that 10,000 hours of practice and playing with Ronnie Earl and then Tommy Castro and Mike Zito and Buddy Guy. And let's say that it happens with a Jimmy Vaughn or a BB. Each one of them has a different style of music that you have to know the language to.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, everybody's different. Everybody sings differently. It's the same way with guitar. You know, everybody's got their own voice, so it's, you know, it's good to know what you're walking into when you're jamming. Sometimes you just don't get that luxury.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, sometimes you're just like, thrown into it.
Yeah.
But you know, it's good to have that. You know, I mean, especially with the blues, it's all about the history. You know,
Right.
it's all about the tradition. So, you know, you gotta look at that, and you have to learn how all these different styles come together.
Yeah, yeah. So playing with Ronnie last night, I know, I mean, I love his slow blues. It just takes me to other spiritual places. What did you do with him last night?
We did, you know, because we're kind of, I mean, we're not like a traditional blues band by at all.
Would you call yourself a blues rock band, or?
You know, we're bluesy. All of our music
Bluesy.
is bluesy, but you know, it's influenced by a lot of things. I mean, I was influenced by a lot of different stuff growing up. But when we got Ronnie up there, I did a couple Howlin' Wolf tunes. We did Killin' Floor, and Who's Been Talking was on my newest record, Blackman Howlin'. So we kind of did this from minor blues, and it was perfect.
Cool, cool.
And the crowd ate it up. They love Ronnie up there.
Oh.
They love him
You're
everywhere.
in his home field. And
Yeah.
He doesn't travel much, you know. He comes out here to play in Northampton at the Iron Horse, and that's about the furthest we get to see him. He's just starting to get out back to some of the festivals. When he plays, I know he takes me to a different place, and I'm in a trance.
Yeah.
What's the experience like when you're playing guitar with him?
Well, I mean, like I said, it's, you know, you're watching somebody, they're speaking with their instruments. So, you know, for me, it's like, God, I just, you know, to hear the way that he would phrase things, it's like, oh, I would have never even thought of that. So I'm just, you know, I'm soaking up what he's doing, and it's really kind of cool because then the song, you know, we do it our certain way, and so when you throw a new element in like that, it changes. And last night, I mean, it was pretty magical. I mean, you throw him in there, and it's like, I just was excited. I'm just trying to build the song, you know, and build his solo up, and try and take the song, and you know, that's as I consider that my job when you're doing the rhythm guitar. You know, you're just trying to kind of help guide the song and follow, and you know, stay out of the way.
Yeah. And you don't want to think about what you're doing. I mean, you didn't sit there last night and go, oh my God, I'm playing with Ronnie Earl, I better watch what he's doing. And you're just letting the song, following the will of the music, as Charlie Musselwhite says.
Well, and I played it a little differently last night than I would have. I played my rhythm part a little differently, just because I wanted to fit a little. I was just fitting better what was going on. And but it wasn't something I was consciously thinking about. I was really, I mean, I had a big smile on my face. I was just watching him play. And, you know,
very nice. And what's it like to jam with a Buddy Guy? I mean, let's go up another whole notch.
Yeah.
I like sometimes to think of it as, are you driving like a Ferrari when you're playing with Buddy Guy compared to driving a Volkswagen when you're playing with Trampled Underfoot? I don't
No,
know.
no. The jam itself, to me, it's like I could be playing with anybody if the music is good, it feels good. But of course, that whole Buddy Guy thing came about it was kind of a crazy weekend.
Yeah.
And it was just an opportunity. His son came down to Kansas City, and we'd known him from Buddy Guys in Chicago.
Yeah, right.
Greg.
Yeah.
And so he came down on the 4th of July and jammed with us at a local venue. And then we had a show in Davenport and then a show in Thunder Bay, Ontario.
Yeah.
Like we drove through the night from Davenport to get to Thunder
Right.
Bay. And then he goes, well, if you can make it to the Voodoo Lounge on Sunday, I might be able to get you up with my dad. So we drove through the night again to get to Kansas City. So when I got to Kansas City, I was completely out of my mind.
Yeah.
Just
exhausted.
yeah, freaked out. And so, I mean, it didn't seem like it was going to happen, And it was him and Johnny Lang, too.
Oh,
which
boy.
I'm a huge Johnny Lang
Yeah,
fan. We
sure.
grew up on that stuff,
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
So, but, then it actually, when it worked out, I just was on cloud 9.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like for me, it's like, oh, I really want to impress this person.
Right,
I
right.
want to play with this guy.
Yeah,
and, you think about it for so long that,
Yeah.
when it actually happens, it's kind of
I know.
very surreal.